welkom terug bij Jeugdhuis TV. Zoals jullie weten zijn wij elke maandag, woensdag, donderdag en vrijdag live vanuit onze Jeugdhuis studio tot rechtstreeks in jullie kot op jullie beeldscherm om jullie te entertainen en te inspireren in deze moeilijke tijden. Normaal pak ik mensen mee die interessant kunnen zijn voor de jonge gasten. Een interessant onderwerp om over te praten. Maar vandaag is het een Savvy Skills aflevering. Savvy Skills, wat is dat? Dan pak ik iemand mee die iets speciaals of iets heel normaals kan. En wie weet ontdek jij dan je nieuwe gave, hobby of gewoon iets tof om te doen. Vandaag heb ik daarvoor een super toffe gast voor mij.
Dank je wel.
Dat is Mathias.
Hallo, ja, ik ben Mathias. Ik maak cocktails.
Ik ga even voor de kijkers die nu aan het kijken zijn ook. Als jullie een vraag hebben voor Mathias, mogen jullie dat gerust droppen in de comments. En dan gaan we daarop ingaan. Gaan we dat proberen doen. Kleine side note. Mathias die spreekt wel heel goed Nederlands. Maar dat is niet zijn eerste taal. Vertel een keer, waar ben jij?
Dus ik ben van Engeland. Ik ben in Engeland opgegroeid. En ik heb familie hier in België. Dus mijn moeder komt uit België. Dus toen ik jong was, kwam ik hier vaak. Gewoon op vakantie om mijn familie te bezoeken, mijn grootouders. En 2 jaar geleden ben ik hier verhuisd. Dus ik kan Nederlands, maar soms vind ik het moeilijk om iets uit te leggen. Dus ik ga misschien een beetje wisselen tussen Nederlands en Engels.
Dat is supergoed.
So I might speak a little bit in English, a little bit in Dutch. I might have some English people watching, so just have to bear with me for the Dutch parts. Try and understand it, and then we gaan ook een beetje Nederlands praten. Gewoon een beetje van allebei.
Ja, we gaan gewoon terugkomen op de ding dan. En pak dat je niet uit je woorden komt, ga gewoon in het Engels verder. En ik ga het dan voor onze Vlaamse kijkertjes ga ik dan een beetje vertalen. Wie hebben we nog in de studio vandaag? Achter de schermen zit Kilian. Dat is wel een mooie samenspraak van je de naam Vital en Kilian normaal gezien. Vital is er niet vandaag, dus dat is met Kilian te doen. En Robin, je moest stoppen met lachen met me. Vandaag achter de knop van het geluid zit Robin dus. En Robin, die gaat er af en toe ook een keer tussen komen. Mathias, wat gaan we doen vandaag?
Dus vandaag gaan we een paar cocktails maken. We gaan een beetje over cocktails leren. Ik ga een beetje over de geschiedenis van cocktails praten. Maar ik ga ook gewoon kleine tips geven om lekker cocktails te maken thuis. Dus dingen die wij achter de bar doen, onszelf, om lekker cocktails te maken. Ik ga kleine tipjes geven om gewoon... Maar ze zijn wel kleine dingen, dus misschien
You can go in English.
The amount of ice, hoeveel ijs je moet gebruiken, of je glas in de frigo te steken om de glas een beetje koud te krijgen. Dus ja, we gaan gewoon een beetje alles over cocktails praten. En als jullie vragen hebben, dan kunnen wij... Ja, ik ga die vragen proberen te antwoorden.
Ja.
Dus,
en dat hoeft ook niet per se allemaal over cocktails te gaan. Als je iets wil vragen aan Mathias zelf, dan mag dat natuurlijk ook. Of als je hem bijvoorbeeld een grappig zinnetje wil aanleren in het West-Vlaams, drop dat ook gerust en dan gaan we dat hier ook een keer proberen.
Dus toen ik hier kwam, 2 jaar geleden, werkte ik in de Lidl in Oostkamp voor een paar maanden, voordat ik in een cocktailbar werkte. En ik heb ook daar zinnen geleerd, dus keer of ik weet je wel, woon wij. Dus ik welkom zinnen, West-Vlaamse zinnen. Ik gebruik ze ook in de bar met klanten, met mensen die binnenkomen. Dus voor mij is dat ook wel...
Dus eigenlijk kan je gewoon nog stoerder worden in het West-Vlaams.
Ja.
Ja, zeggen. Het zou wel zijn. Je hebt verteld dat we iets gaan vertellen over de geschiedenis van cocktails. Ik weet niets over cocktails, dus misschien moet ik beginnen bij het begin voor mij.
Ja, oké. Dus ik ga eerst een beetje praten over waarom ik maak cocktails graag en hoe ik in de industrie ben gekomen. Ik ben nieuw eigenlijk. Ik ben in de industrie maar 2 jaar, 3 jaar echt. In Groot-Vlaanderen, hier in Brugge, was de eerste echte cocktailbar waarin ik gewerkt heb.
Super goede zaak.
Ja, het is wel heel lekker cocktails, mooie zaal. Het is wel een mooie zaak, leuke mensen, leuke collega's. Dus toen ik in Londen was, dus ik studeerde in Engeland. Voordat ik studeerde heb ik nooit in een bar gewerkt. En toen ik studeerde werkte ik in de studentenbar. Dat was pintjes, dat was vodka-cola's, dat was rum-cola's, dat was gewoon een beetje... Ja, lekker dranken. Ja, precies. En we hadden cocktails, maar ze waren heel simpel cocktails. Maar ik vond de cocktails wel interessant. Dus begon ik cocktails thuis te maken. Verschillende flessen te kopen, gewoon om te zien welke flessen er waren. Maar dan heb ik niets gedaan. Ik ben bij een bank gaan werken. En voor mij was dat niet zo leuk.
Ja.
Voor een scherm altijd te zitten. Dus ik ben mijn job verlaten en ik begon te werken in een bar in Londen.
Ja.
En dat was een bar, ook met een restaurant, met eten. Ook pintjes, ook bieren, veel fles, in Engeland we call them pints. Jullie hier in België, dat is wel 564 milliliter, dus grote pinten. Dat is geen pintjes, dat is een pint.
Ja.
We like to drink pints, big beers. Maar de bier is wel lekker hier in België, lekkerder dan in Engeland. The beers are nicer here in Belgium, and I think they drink them differently. It's always fun to see English people come to Belgium and
it's horrible. Like always when there's an ambulance coming, it's always the English they have to take away.
Well, the English people, they drink Belgian beer like it's English beer, and Belgian beer is often very strong, so it doesn't go down too well. Doesn't often end well.
Misschien een kleine waarschuwing voor je Engelse vrienden.
Ja, precies. Ja. Dus ik werkte in de cocktailbar, in de bar in Londen. En daar hadden we hadden onze eigen cocktailkaart met onze eigen huisgemaakte cocktails. Maar elke week hadden wij ook een klassieke cocktail.
Ja.
Dus,
zoals wat?
Dus, zoals ik weet niet, een Manhattan.
Ja.
Of een Vucaré of any classic cocktails. Klassieke cocktails zijn cocktails die je in elke bar kan gaan en voor een klassieke cocktail vragen.
Ja.
Die zijn cocktails die de meeste bartenders zo kennen.
Ja.
Dus je kan gewoon een whisky sour bijvoorbeeld kan in elke cocktailbar krijgen.
Ja.
Maar elke bar heeft soms ook zijn eigen cocktails. Dus maar ik begon klassieke cocktailrecepten te leren en dan daardoor ben ik in een andere bar gaan werken en dan Londen is wel een toffe stad, maar ik vond het gewoon een beetje te druk, een beetje te duur ook.
Ja,
dus,
voor daar te wonen, dat zelf
voor daar te
bedoel.
wonen, de huur is bijvoorbeeld,
is het hier beter?
Hier in Brugge is veel beter. Ja, en in Londen was het 1000 pond per maand om een kleine kamer te huren.
Serieus?
Dus het is wel, 800. Je kan veel meer ook betalen, je kan minder betalen, maar dan krijg je niet zo'n goede appartement.
Ja, dan krijg je echt de krot.
Ja, precies.
Oh, dat is wel jammer.
Dus ik had familie hier, dus ik dacht ik ga naar België verhuizen. En ik had geluk dat ik een job in Groot-Vlaanderen heb gekregen. Ik was in een cocktailbar in Antwerpen, Cocktails at 9. En ik vroeg iemand daar, kent u ergens waar ik misschien kan werken? En hij, hoe zeg je dat, heeft Groot-Vlaanderen voorgesteld? Is het juist
voorgesteld of aangeraden om een keer te
precies.
kijken.
En ik had geluk. 6 maanden later was ik bij Groot-Vlaanderen.
Dat is eigenlijk wel gek dat je in Antwerpen de tip hebt gekregen voor in Brugge in Groot-Vlaanderen te doen. Dat is super cool.
Dat is super cool. Dus, maar ik vind gewoon cocktails heel interessant. De geschiedenis van de producten, de recepten. We hebben alcohol gedronken voor millennia.
Ja.
Dus ik denk dat de eerste, the first evidence of alcohol was about 7000 BC in China somewhere, where people left things to ferment.
Yeah.
And then through natural yeast in the air, things would ferment and then people would drink them. So people have been drinking alcohol for thousands of years. Obviously it's changed what people have been drinking and how they drink it has changed massively throughout that period.
Dat is eigenlijk wel super interessant, waarom dat mensen zo graag zat zijn en dat hebben ontdekt.
Yeah, I think a lot in the past as well, people would drink and it was, I could be wrong here. I'm also still learning a lot as well. Like I said, I've only been in the industry for a few years, so I'm still having to learn a lot and there's always more reading to do, but I think it was always a cultural thing, and obviously with drinking wine, people would get drunk, they would see visions, and you had different meanings behind why people would drink
maybe
alcohol.
something spiritual
maybe
as
something
well.
more spiritual, for instance, a way of connecting, getting into a different headspace and connecting to the God. So, or also maybe just to get drunk as well, probably. But yeah, so until dus tot de... Ik kan weer in Nederlands praten.
Supergoed. Ja, als je hoofd te moe wordt, dan mag je switchen. Maar doe maar.
Dus
je is super bezig.
cocktails zoals vandaag, met ijs en alles. Dus aan het einde van de 18e eeuw, denk ik. Dat is de
18th century.
Yeah, beginning of the 1800s. People would drink punch bowls, lots of punch. They would have like a wine with some sugar and some bitters and some water. And it'd be a communal thing. People would drink lots of punch, and that's how people used to drink a lot of the time.
Yeah. But like really with the spoon?
Yeah, with a spoon, they'd ladle it out, or just put your glass in, pour it out, and take it. And it was a very sociable thing to do.
Okay.
I think as people then started to get busier and social pressures started to change, people didn't have time to sit and drink out of a punch bowl the whole time, so people would then start to just have single serves of glasses. So you'd go to the bar, you'd have a quick cocktail for lunch. Yeah, if you're between jobs. Yeah. Oh, sorry. People would. Okay. Yeah, I think obviously I think alcohol wasn't quite. Again, I could be making this up. I'm not sure.
That's okay.
You could. I think it was maybe more acceptable at that time to just have a quick drink, and it's not quite so as professional as today, I believe. But then at this time there would be no ice in cocktails either, because ice wasn't widely available around the world. Mm-hmm. So you'd be drinking a lot of warmer drinks, and so ice started to come into drinks towards 1850 and just before. They would basically, in New England, America, they would harvest ice from the lakes. Yeah. They would fill ships up with ice, and they would ship them around the world. So you'd ship them to the Caribbean, you'd ship them to India, you'd ship them to Australia. So a very clever gentleman thought, we've got all of this ice here, what can we do with it? He wanted to make some money, so he found a way to cut it, he found a way to transport it, and then eventually people liked the idea of having a chilled drink instead. Yeah. And so that's when ice started to come into drink. So it's not that, just under 200 years ago since we've been drinking drinks with ice.
Ja, dat is eigenlijk wel grappig, dat wij ijs zo doodnormaal vinden nu, omdat wij diepvriezers hebben.
Ja, precies. En dat is een van de belangrijkste ingrediënten voor cocktails ook. Maar dat was niet normaal. Eigenlijk tot 1920 hadden ze ook geen diepvriezen. Dat was geen artificiële ijs. Ja. Dus dat was nog altijd ijs van ergens die geshipped wordt en dan verkocht. Ja,
letterlijk gevonden, meegepakt en dan...
Ja, precies. Ja. Maar that was because of the way ice works, you could pack a boat with it, large blocks, and then you could insulate it, and a lot of it would melt on the way, but there would be enough left at the end of the journey to sell and make a profit. And also for medicine and for food as well. Ice, like if you're in I don't know, India somewhere, and there were all these tropical diseases, ice helped a lot. So it wasn't just for drinks. There are other more important things probably, and for storing food in your vegetables, etc. So ice is a relatively new part of cocktails, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too, because het eerste ding waar je aan denkt, aan cocktails, dan is het niet aan de ijsblokjes, hè? Toch niet?
Nee. En ik ga even een beetje uitleggen waarom ijs zo belangrijk is voor een lekker cocktail te hebben. Het is ook iets moeilijk thuis te doen, want normaal gezien heb je veel ijs nodig. Meer dan je denkt eigenlijk om veel cocktails te maken. Ja. Als je misschien 1 of 2 cocktails thuis wil maken, dan heb je niet zoveel nodig. Maar het is wel belangrijk. En dan in de 19th century, 20th century, last century. Obviously, had prohibition in America, where alcohol was banned completely. So
is dat echt?
Yeah, from 1920 to I think 1929, 1930, alcohol was completely banned.
En waarom?
Waarom? Gewoon dat niet goed voor de gezelschap was, denk ik. Dat was mensen die
heel veel dronken.
Ja, maar ook gewoon, ik denk de gezelschap in Amerika was heel gewoon tegen alcohol, tegen alles die je lui maakt of tegen iets dat niet goed voor je religion was en dingen. Dus dat was compleet dat was verboden.
Ja.
En dan begonnen mensen thuis ook dingen te maken. Moonshine bijvoorbeeld.
Ja, je hebt daar nu een programma van op National Geographic.
Ja, welke programma?
Yeah, I didn't really watch it, but you have like a show that's called the Moonshiners or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like make it and then they hide it in their backyard.
Yeah, precies. Yeah, there was lots of gangs and stuff as well who were making it and selling it, and there was lots of money to be made in it, and that's where you hear of speakeasy bars. And speakeasy bars are bars which are kind of like hidden away that you can't find, and they kind of started to emerge more then because they're the only places you could find alcohol, which is interesting. And then since then, there's been lots of different crazes. You had a big tiki craze in America. Tiki drinks are rum drinks, exotic drinks. It's kind of like Polynesia, Hawaii, those kinds of vibes was in America. And then when you get to the 70s, 80s, that kind of died off. And then they started to use more artificial things because they were cheaper and more efficient.
Zoals wat?
Zoals in de plaats van verse limoensap of verse citroensap. Was
de
dat
smaak
iets, dat was de smaak, dat was iets een beetje meer synthetisch. Of
smaakstoffen waarschijnlijk.
Smaakstoffen en verschillende kleuren, dus die blauwe cocktails en alles, dat was een beetje meer... Ze kunnen wel ook lekker smaken.
Ja, maar je tong is helemaal blauw dan.
Ja, precies. Dat is ook waar.
Ik heb trouwens een paar comments. Je ziet zo trouwens supergoed aan toen in het Nederlands.
Echt? Oh, ja, okay,
ik heb Dieter Moejaert.
Ja, dat is mijn chef van Groot-Vlaanderen. Hallo Dieter.
Hey.
Ja, dankjewel voor de ijs en alles en de shaker.
Ja, big up naar Groot-Vlaanderen, nee?
Ja.
Hij zegt, hij doet het niet slecht, hè, Stefanie. Ik vind dat ook niet. Dan hebben we Joshua Jacksens.
Ja, hij werkt ook. Hij is ook een van mijn collega's. Hij werkt ook af en toe bij ons. Ook een goede bartender.
Is hij een beetje vriendelijk?
Ja. Hij werkt in That's Toast.
Oh, I love it.
Ja.
Joshua, That's Toast is echt mijn ding. Als je met toastjes maakt, je doet dat goed, vindt. Nee, hij zegt, maar jongen. Dus ik weet niet of hij dat vriendelijk bedoelt of of dat iets is dat je moet leren.
Nee, dat weet ik niet eigenlijk. Ik denk dat ik moet dat wel leren waarschijnlijk. Maar ik denk dat Dieter en Joshua, ze zeggen altijd tegen elkaar, maar jongen. Toch.
Joshua zegt, zwicht jongen. Dus ik denk dat het misschien een gesprek is tussen hun twee.
Ja, precies. Ja. Dat is tussen Joshua en Dieter.
De mensen die Groot-Vlaanderen nog niet kennen, mijn collega Robin heeft net Groot-Vlaanderen getagd in de comments. Ik zou zeggen, ga naar hun Facebook, like dat. En doen ze dan nog altijd afhaalcocktails? Maar we gaan het daar straks over hebben, hè?
Ja, wat blieft. Ja. Dus momenteel natuurlijk zijn al de bars dicht. Maar ze doen wel nog takeaway cocktails vrijdag en zaterdagavond.
En ze zien goed.
Ze zijn wel lekker tot tussen 5 en 7 uur, geloof ik. Je kan dat online bestellen afhalen. Ze zijn wel lekker. Ik zou dat aanraden. Ja. Ik ga dat morgen mezelf voor een cocktail takeaway.
Ja.
Dus,
zou wel zijn. Ik heb er ook al een keer besteld, ik ga dat zeker nog een keer doen. Ze waren echt goed. En Dieter zegt, Nina, je heeft het tegen mij. Dat is een geruststelling voor Mathias en mij. Oké, maar ik heb je onderbroken. Waar zat je in je cocktailverhaal?
Ik weet niet, dat was...
Artificiële dingen.
In the 80s and then 2000s, a craft cocktail movement began to start again. So more craft products, people thought, okay, we want to make cocktails and we want to do them properly and we want to think about where we get our products from. We want to make sure we use the best products available. We want to start experimenting with different flavors and different technologies and different ways of doing things, but kind of refining things a little bit more and going and using your fresh produce, using local produce, using seasonal produce, and making a lot more instead of buying a syrup from somewhere. Taking those ingredients, making it at home, making it in the bar, and then that's kind of where we're at today. I think cocktail bars are coming back into fashion quite a lot. I know that in London there are so many different cocktail bars and so many different styles. It's amazing, really. That's why I love it so much, because you can go into one bar and get a really exotic rum drink that makes you feel like you're on holiday somewhere. Then you can go into another bar and you get a really like classic old-fashioned or a Manhattan, a nice stirred drink, and the decor and everything that a bar involves, the music, the decor.
Gewoon een ervaring eigenlijk.
Het is dat eigenlijk. Ja, dat is een kleine geschiedenis. Dat was heel simpel. Ik weet niet alles natuurlijk. Ik moet nog veel leren, maar dat was een heel klein,
Een klein
summary,
stukje ervan.
een klein stukje daarvan.
Ja, maar dat is goed. Dat is super interessant. Like voor mensen... Allee, ik drink graag cocktails.
Ja.
Maar ik weet er niet zoveel over. Dus dat is wel echt heel interessant. Ik vind het tof dat je er zo gepassioneerd over bent.
Ja, en er zijn veel cocktailbooks van nog altijd van de 1800s and 1900s. And you can find all these old recipes and people are taking these old recipes and they're redoing them and making them with current ingredients. There are some ingredients that you can't buy anymore, so they're trying to recreate those ingredients as well.
Heb je een voorbeeld van iets dat je niet meer kan?
Quina Lillet. Lillet, you know, Lillet Blanc. Je kan dat ook in de supermarkt vinden.
Nee.
Maar dat was vroeger Quina Lillet. Ik geloof dat nu, dat is onmogelijk te kopen.
Ik weet zelfs niet wat dat is.
Dat is like een aperitief drankje. Dat is, I think it's aromatized, an aromatized wine.
Oké.
I think it's quite herbal, very fresh. It's nice with tonic.
Oké.
I'm getting my words muddled in Dutch and English.
Dat is niet erg.
But it's very nice, very fresh. But I think there are recipes that they don't make it the same way anymore.
Ja.
So Quina Lillet, you can still buy Lillet, but it's not the same Lillet that you'd find
Like years ago.
before. So,
Ja. We hebben trouwens nog een paar comments. Kaylee is hier. Hey Kaylee. Ze zegt loving this from the UK. Dat is super lief.
Nice, yeah. Hello, Kaylee.
Wie is dat?
Dat is mijn vriendin van Engeland. We hebben eigenlijk trouwens in de bar elkaar ontmoet. Dus vorig jaar.
Vertel de keer van in het begin waar je elkaar hebt leren kennen.
Ja, dat was gewoon in de bar. Zij kwamen binnen met zijn familie, met zijn ouders.
En ze zag er super goed uit.
Ja, precies. En ze hebben eigenlijk de eerste avond veel gedronken. Ze hebben veel lawaai gemaakt. Maar de volgende dag is haar paar teruggekomen. En ze hebben allemaal aan de bar gezeten. En we hebben elkaar daar ontmoet. En sinds dan hebben wij elkaar... Ja, ik ben terug naar Engeland geweest, hij is naar hier gekomen. Dus dat was wel mooi. Ja.
Dat is wel echt een mooi verhaal.
Ja.
We hebben ook mijn mama.
Ja.
Hey mama. Ze zei cheers to Matt van Agie en ik. Dus van mijn stiefpapa en mijn mama heb je de groetjes. En dan Natalie Harrison, als ik het juist uitspreek.
Natalie Harrison, ja. Hey Natalie. Dat is de vriendin van de broer van Kaylee.
Dat vind ik wel heel cool.
Ja.
Ze zegt Rod, Natalie en George sending love from
En George
UK.
is haar nieuwe zoon die 4 maanden oud is. Dus,
Oh.
ja. We gaan in 18 jaar, of misschien gaan we wel nu een fles whisky kopen of een fles rum kopen.
Ja.
Limited edition. Dan in 20 jaar werd het meer waard. Dan kunnen we aan hem, dat is een soort een cool idee voor een
geboortegeschenk of zo. Ja, dat is wel tof. En Vicky Bauer is hier ook. Is dat Kaylee haar zus?
De zus van Kaylee, ja.
Ze zeggen ook hey Matt.
Hey.
Is dat tof dat ze allemaal aan het kijken zijn?
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Oké. Ga je nog iets vertellen of gaan we iets doen?
I think we should get started. Making cocktails at home is always a lot more difficult than making cocktails in a bar.
Waarom?
Because you don't have everything ready for you. In a bar, you have all the bottles ready, you have all your glasses behind you, everything's in the fridge, you have your ice from an ice machine, so everything is really nicely set up.
Yeah.
So whenever you make cocktails at home, it's always a little bit more messy. It's probably good. It's very representative of what they've kindly built this for me when I got here. But it's very representative of what it's like making cocktails at home. But I'm going to give a few tips to say, if you're making 1 or 2 drinks, you can do them one by one. Some stuff we do in the bar. So we open the bar, but before everyone comes in, we'll be juicing fresh limes, fresh lemons, fresh grapefruit juice, orange juice, whatever, making syrups. And so I think if you're making cocktails at home, it's always nice to take a bit of time to prepare everything in advance.
Je mise en place.
Mise en place,
ja.
Precies. En then it's dus elke keer dat je een cocktail wil maken voor iemand, dan staat alles klaar. Dus dat betekent, je moet geen citroen persen elke keer dat je een cocktail wil maken. Dus ik heb, here's some I made earlier.
Zoals wat een potje.
Yeah, that was all I had. So I have lemon juice, lime juice. I've made a sugar syrup, and I have some egg white substitute. But I want to say, if you're making cocktails at home, you can buy kind of juices already, like from the supermarket.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to buy limes and lemons, juice them yourself. They taste really fresh. They're really like bright and lively, and they're much better always than the supermarket replacements. It doesn't take too long to juice them.
I have a comment.
Go for it, yeah.
Ik snap het niet zo goed. Johan zegt, give us some flair.
Give us some flair, which I'm not going to do. Johan is my brother. Johan is mijn broer. Flair bartending is when you're throwing things around, and I can't do it, and I'm too clumsy to do it. So, thank you for highlighting that I can't do it. But
if you want to try it, maybe you can do it there.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to do. I have one trick, which I will try.
Voorzichtig, u.
Ja.
Studio niet afbreken, hè, Mathias?
Okay. I have one trick. This is the only trick I do. It's the only trick I show people. Is what you want to do is you're going to have your small tin on the bar. You get your big tin. Oh, I don't have to stand up. I'm going to bend down for it. And what you can do is I have an ice scoop here. You need an ice scoop to do this trick. So you want to get your ice in one thing. Then you're going to flip this over. You're going to put your ice in. You're then going to flip that back round with the ice in it. With your little tin on the table, you're going to knock the top of it down, so it's like that. So you hit the bottom with the bar, hit the bottom with the ice scoop, and the top with the tin, so it's like that. And then you throw, that up, like that.
Dat was super mooi.
So you flip it like that, in.
Ongeveer.
And then in. And then you can build your drink in here. At the end, you can get rid of the water from the ice, so you don't have that water in there. And then you go on to build your cocktail.
Dat zag er super ingewikkeld uit.
It does look complicated, but it's one of the easier tricks. It's the only one I really know. And when I'm behind the bar, I can.
Mathias, nadien zegt hij nog, hij mag hier ook eens komen shaken met zijn cocktails.
Dat is mijn mama.
Ja, echt? Ja, oké, cool. Ja, voor €50. Kan ik dat doen? Ja.
Zeg, Ella. Daar zijn we.
Maar er zijn veel mensen, dus flair tending is a lot of, you can watch it on YouTube, put in flair tending world championships. There are some people who can throw 3 bottles in the air and they throw 3 tins in the air. It's amazing. So
Maybe you should practice.
I could practice. You need to learn how to juggle. Generally, if you're in a bar, you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of the amazing tricks, but there are small little tricks you can do, which you can do whilst you're making things, and they just look nice. But I'm not very good. I'm very clumsy. I drop stuff and I break things. So,
Don't you get nervous when there's clients, klanten, als ze zo zijn te kijken op je vingers en zo van, wat is die aan het doen?
Ik vind dat wel cool eigenlijk. Wanneer mensen kijken, dan voel ik me zo, oké, dus mensen zijn geïnteresseerd. Het is een beetje motivatie om dingen goed te doen, denk ik.
Ja, dat is wel cool. Trouwens, de comments stromen hier binnen. Hè. Lise is aan het kijken.
Ja, oké.
Lise zegt hallootjes.
Hallo, Lise.
En Johan, just a little, please.
Just a little. I can spin a bar spoon on my finger.
Je hebt welke majorette?
Wat blief?
Een majorette, dat is als je de fanfare hebt.
Ja.
Like de marching band.
Ja, en dan dus gewoon een beetje rond dingen. Maar ik kan dat niet zo goed doen, dus ik ga niet meer doen. Ik ga zeggen, nee, ik ga geen flair doen. Ik ga gewoon lekker cocktails maken.
Dat is goed te doen. Ja. We hebben ook Mieke Boden, is dat je tante?
Dat is mijn ma.
Je mama?
Ja.
Oh, sorry.
Dat is Annemie, Mieke, ja.
Ja, sorry. Hey. Ze said, very proud and didn't know your Flemish was that good. Guess I forgive you for leaving the bank all those years ago. You did the right thing. XXX.
Thank you.
Dat
That's
super
very
lief.
sweet, mum. Thank you.
En dan... Wat, hè? Johan zegt, nailed it, thank you. En dan Kaylee, good work, Johan. En dan Jorn Koenen, and now faster.
Jordan is a regular in Groot Vlaanderen. I think he has the record for the highest bar tab there. He drinks all the nice rums, all the nice whiskies, and they're very, very friendly people. They get involved in our quizzes. We've done a couple of quizzes as a team together.
Ik wist niet dat jullie dat
Cocktail
deden.
quizzes, yeah, just the GV team. But Jordan and Nick, they're always there at the bar. They're regulars. Hi.
Het is hier wel grappig. Dieter, je baas, zegt, wacht, het is moeilijk. He especially drops espresso martinis.
So one of my most embarrassing moment as a bartender in my short time bartending was on Valentine's Day last year. And I was making drinks in front of me. I think I had a few glasses around. I'd made an espresso martini, so that was standing here, and I was just finishing the other drinks. And there was a lovely English couple in front of me. It must have been 2 years. No, it was last year, before the corona.
Yeah.
And there was a lovely couple sitting in front of me at the bar, and I was chatting to them, and they were really, really friendly. And then she had a lovely, lovely red dress on that she'd obviously worn because it was Valentine's Day. So I was standing up, and I think I went over here, and I just, with my elbow, knocked the espresso martini, and it went all over her dress. And what made it worse was that they were really friendly about it, and I just felt so guilty.
Did you get like a red hair?
Yeah, I probably went super, and I think it threw me. So I think for the rest of the night I was making other mistakes because I had made that one big blunder. But thanks for reminding me, Peter, of that as well.
Dan hebben we nog Robin die zegt over mijn mama dat wij wel een date gaan regelen tussen jou en mijn mama, dat je cocktail kan maken voor haar.
Ja.
En Sergio is hier ook en hij zegt, pestkop man, hij zegt misschien kan Nina straks flair proberen.
Ja.
Denk niet dat dat gaat lukken.
She can probably do it better than
nee,
me.
ik was super lomp en ik kan totaal niet jongleren of zo ook.
Ja.
Maar zeg, zo hou je er niet geraken, hè?
Yeah. So as I was saying, well, before we go into ingredients, we're going to talk about what I knew I was going to miss things out. Talk about what you need to do it. You can have, it's really useful. First of all, shaker is good. We always use, in the bar, we use Boston shakers. They're with 2 pieces. They're really quick to use. Most bars use them, but if you're going to buy a shaker, we'd recommend a 2-piece shaker with a small tin and a big tin. Stainless steel instead of, sometimes you get them with 1 glass tin, but obviously they break easier, and also they don't conduct heat so well. So when they're stainless steel, they chill quicker.
Okay.
They're nice. The glass ones are nice because you can see everything in it, but they're not very practical.
Yeah.
So this is what we'd recommend. It's what most bartenders use. I brought this just to show. This is a cobbler. This is I've forgotten the name. This is a 3-piece shaker, which people have at home, which is really nice as well. It's easy to use. It's really good at home. In a bar, it's not quite so easy because it takes a little bit more time when you're straining it. So this one has a tin, a bit at the top. You shake it with a little cap on the top, and you take it off and you can strain it like that. So it's really easy to use, but it doesn't strain so well. And
het is meer voor thuis dan.
Dus meer voor thuis, voor beginners denk ik. Maar ik zou ook zeggen voor beginners, begin met die 2. Dat is niet te moeilijk te gebruiken en ook gewoon een beetje sneller. So, a tin is good. With that, you need a strainer. That's a Hawthorne strainer. And also a fine strainer. So you have 2 strainers.
Yeah.
A jigger is always good to measure your ingredients. Some people free pour and they count. So 5 seconds would be a double. Different people do it differently. Which is cool. Again, it's really quick and it looks really good. And at certain bars, that's what you want. You want it to be quick. You want it to be fun. You free pour. If you're measuring drinks and for consistency, it's always nice to use a jigger.
Ja.
Bar spoons, if you want to stir a drink.
Dat ziet er altijd super fancy uit, vind ik.
Yeah, they're cool. They're nice and long, and they're just easier to stir with than a regular spoon. And maybe a muddler as well. If you want to muddle fruit at the bottom, muddle herbs at the bottom. So that's kind of generally what you need. You don't need an ice scoop. I've got one because I buy silly things and spend my money on stuff I don't need. And then obviously lots of ice. I've got an ice bucket.
Die heel nammer mee
It's easier. And then glasses as well, so various glasses. But ingredients wise, we're gonna have. It's nice to have fresh lime and fresh lemon. These 2. So just press them, strain them so you don't have the little bits in them. So you can just strain it through one of these and you take all the small solids out.
Yeah.
They keep for 2 days max. We juice fresh juice every day in the bar so that they're nice and fresh. They lose a bit of their brightness when you keep them for too long. This looks very see-through, but it's sugar syrup. So that's 1-to-1 sugar syrup. So you just...
Dus 1 deel water, 1 deel
1 deel
suiker.
water, 1 deel suiker.
Ja.
Gewoon een beetje ruren. And then it dissolves. It's like a sweet syrup. It's a basic, simple syrup.
Yeah.
And that's all you really need for fresh ingredients. Obviously, you can you can juice whatever you want. But always try and use fresh ingredients when you can. They always taste better. Obviously, booze, whatever you want to make, in glasses, and that's it. So, what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to make 3 different drinks. I'm going to try and talk about the drinks as I go. The first one's going to be alcohol-free, and then I'm going to make 2 more drinks. They have different cocktail families. So there's a really great book, which I've got here, which I admire, which I like a lot. It's called the Cocktail Codex. You can ask me later if you want to use it.
Mag ik erin kijken?
Yeah, of course. There's the Cocktail Codex, and it basically says there are 6 different kind of families of cocktails based on the ratios of their ingredients, whether it has one main base spirit, a small amount of a liqueur and
like
bitters. Yeah, so it has the, if you pass it here, I'll put it on the camera.
Yeah.
So for instance, one family would be the martini family, which is in the middle, and then you have all of these different cocktails, which are variations of that cocktail in there. So it's really good. We're going to be doing sours today, so that's your daiquiris, daiquiris.
Maar je rare uitspraken.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to be doing today. But it's interesting, if you get the book, it's got an overview of all different products in there, different spirits, whiskey, rum, gin, whatever you want. It's got it in that book. So it's really useful as a bartender. It might be a bit too much if you're just making drinks at home. But even so, if you want to reference something, it's really good.
Okay.
So yeah, the first drink we're going to start with is going to be a non-alcoholic cocktail. It's a classic cocktail, but we're going to sub out gin for a non-alcoholic spirit. It's called a Tom Collins, which is normally made with gin, sugar, lemon, and soda water. It was kind of made, I think it was referenced towards the end of the 1800s. A very famous bartender called Jerry Thomas.
Zo zat hij dat allemaal weet.
I try and remember. I've been studying a bit as well, just to try and make sure I get the general facts right. But you learn it as you go as well. You, like you say, have a classic cocktail every week. You learn the story behind it.
Yeah, because I was just wondering, like, you're talking about a certain cocktail, like, oh, it has this, it has this, it has this, but I think I would have trouble remembering everything.
So in a bar, you just, because you're there every day, and you're doing it every day. So your own recipes for the bar, you have to, whenever you have a new menu, you'll learn the recipes.
Yeah.
Lots of people learn them and study them, and they can read them, and they learn it by reading. Other people, they have to be making it and doing it, and you learn it through doing. In the bar, it's nice because you have all the bottles are always in the same place, so you know for a certain drink, without even looking, you know your gin's there, or you know your sugar syrup's here. So it's also learning through called? Muscle memory, exactly. So
ben je al gemist?
Probably, yeah. And then, so you have your house cocktail menu, which are the cocktails that the bar makes themselves. And then you have classic cocktails, which you learn over time through reading, through studying, through making them for people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you know a recipe, but somebody hasn't asked for it for 6 months, and you're like, oh, God, I need to remind myself of what that is. Some of them you like yourself and you just remember them. But over time, you build them up. Again, I know a lot of them. I know this much, and the amount of cocktails there are. The amount of cocktails there are there's a huge amount of cocktails, loads of different recipe books. So it's always learning, it's always trying out new things. But this is a Tom Collins. It was one of my favourite drinks for a while. Super refreshing. I was hoping we were going to make some nice refreshing drinks. It's cold outside, but I was hoping to make some drinks where it's like nice, they're refreshing, and it feels a bit more like you're in summer. It feels a bit more like you're on holiday.
Heb je erover nagedacht?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, this drink, it's called a Tom Collins. It's been around for a long time. And it's really easy to make. Sometimes you can shake it. I'm going to build it because I only have 2 shakers. Well, we can wash them as well, but I'm going to build it. You can build it. You can shake it, but I'm going to build it just for ease sake. So what you want to do is this is served in a highball, which is like a gin tonic glass, a long glass. There you go. You can see it. In the bar, something I don't do, which I should do. I don't think Deze does it either, so it's not too bad. But you should always start with your cheapest ingredients first. that way, if you put in your most expensive drink, a nice whiskey, and then you add in the wrong juice or the wrong something else, you don't waste a shot of whiskey, you waste the juice. And the most expensive stuff goes in last. At home you can do that, or you can just drink it when it's not right as well. So I'm going to start with, and you can ask me for these recipes afterwards, 20 mils of lemon juice. I'm not in the camera, but 20 mils of lemon juice.
Dat is niet waar. Staan er streepjes in?
So you can buy jiggers which have like measurements inside them. This one is double-sided, and this side is 25 mils. This side is 60 mils. Inside this one you have a 15 mil mark, so you can see where 15 mils is. 20 is somewhere in between that, and then obviously on the other side you have a double. But you can get them with some of them have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We use them in the bar. They're really helpful because you know exactly where you want to be. So I've added my lemon juice. This is my 1-to-1 sugar syrup. Also 20 mils of that. And then instead of gin, this is a really nice product which has been on the market for like 5 years now, I think. It's called Seedlips from the UK, north in the UK. They have 3 versions of it. I bought I think it's called Spice. It's Seedlip Spice. That's a more Christmassy one, more like you have your cinnamon coming through, Christmassy flavours. They have another one called Grove, which is very citrusy, grapefruity. This is called Seedlip Garden. It's very herbal. Tastes very green. It's a weird way to describe things, but it just tastes really green. It's like pea, hay, rosemary, thyme, very herbal. It's got a really nice flavour to it. It's my favourite non-alcoholic product to use.
Okay.
So if you want a lot of cocktails without alcohol, they're often like very fruit juicy based. This kind of tastes like you're drinking alcohol, but you're not. So it's a little bit more refined, I would say.
Dus eigenlijk als je Bob bent, dan hoef je niet... if you're driving, you don't have to...
If you're, Sorry, should I speak more in Dutch?
Nee,
Or is it okay?
Ik ga af en toe er ook tussenkomen. Dat is dus een alcoholvrije cocktail dat Mathias aan het maken is. De rest lijkt een beetje op elkaar van woorden, toch, denk ik.
Ja.
Als er iemand aan het kijken is en die bijvoorbeeld Engels niet zo heel goed verstaat, als je vragen hebt, mag je dat ook smijten in de comments. En dan gaan we vragen voor te vertalen. Hè.
Ja, okay, cool.
Kom niet goed.
It's really cool how they make it. They put it in alcohol to steep the botanicals, but then they distill it. So how you make alcohol, you distill.
Ja, distilleren.
Yeah, exactly. You distill alcohol, boils off at a lower temperature, so the alcohol boils off and recondenses into a more alcoholic solution in the next still. Sometimes you single distill it, double distill it, triple distill it. Goes up in proof every time. These guys, they distill it the first time to take the alcohol out of it. So normally you'd want what comes out. These guys actually distill it to take the alcohol out of it.
They actually save everything except the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, they separate the alcohol from the maceration, the flavors, and then they distill it again, but they just distill it all the way through to concentrate the flavors. It's really nice. So you put 20 sugar, 20 lemon. We're going to put 50 mils, which is a double shot in England, 50 milliliters, 5 centiliters in as well. I'm hoping my highballs are big enough for this drink. Obviously, most expensive ingredient goes in last. Then you're going to add your ice.
Ik vind het wel grappig dat je een hele emmer ijs
Yeah,
neemt.
I know. So you're going to add your ice in. Careful not to spill anything. As I said, you can shake this as well very quickly. Give it a short shake. Ice in a glass. You always want to have full to the top with ice. Lots of people think if you put less ice in, you're going to get more of the rest of it. It's not the case. The more ice you have, the cooler your drink stays. So some people think if you put less ice in, it gets more. Too much ice, they think it gets too watery. The opposite is true. The more ice you have, the less dilution you have. The drink is colder. Because the drink is colder, there's more ice, the less it melts.
Yeah.
So always make it full. We used to call it, in a bar in London, we used to call it a rubber ducky. A rubber ducky, like in a bath. How would you call that in Dutch?
Een rubber eentje.
Ja.
Wat eentje?
Ja, precies. And that's when the ice is floating.
Sorry, ik was net afgeleid.
That's cool.
Joshua zegt, waiting for the ice bucket challenge when you're done.
Yeah, no,
Ja,
I'm not going to be doing that.
misschien. Blijf kijken om het resultaat ervan te zien, zou ik zeggen.
So you got everything in here. Also, if you have less ice, the ice moves around more, and then it starts to dilute more because it's coming in contact with more water. So lots of ice is always important. Then soda water. I'm using Fever Tree soda water. You want to keep these in the fridge as well. It's been out for a while, but again, the colder this is, the better. If it's warmer, the gas escapes more and it goes flatter quickly. So you want to keep these in the fridge as well. I'm going to open it with a tin.
Wow.
And then you want to add 50 mils of soda water. Alternatively, you can put the soda in first and it mixes already. And then I've got a bar spoon, you just want to give it, oh, missed the glass. Just want to give it a nice quick stir. Up and down is nice, just lift all the ice up and then drop it back down. If I can get my spoon out. Again, already there, you can see that the ice is floating a bit. It's quite full already, so I'm not going to do anything else. That's a Tom Collins, a non-alcoholic Tom Collins. It's really easy. Fresh lemon juice, sugar syrup, seedlip, and soda water. 4 ingredients. And then you can either garnish it with a lemon wedge or something. Because I don't have a chopping board, I'm just going to take a nice...
Is enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's over there. But I'm just going to take a nice bit of... So peel a little bit of lemon off. This has really nice oils in it.
Yeah.
So if you just spritz it over the top like that, you're expressing...
En dat doet iets.
You're expressing oil. The oils from the lemon over the top.
Okay.
So if you then smell that, you can smell a nice bit of lemon.
I can smell it until here.
You can smell it there
Yeah.
already, yeah. So another thing you can do then for cosmopolitans, I'm sure lots of people have seen it in the bar. But if you have a lighter, which I do,
Yeah.
the way you do a flaming twist as a garnish.
Ik kan het niet in brand steken, hè?
No, but you basically take a light and this set, you can do that. And then the oils light on fire and you get like a nice burntish lemon flavour, or with the case of a cosmopolitan, a burnt orange flavour. But the oils fall over the drink. This is ready. I'm going to let you try it first.
Ik denk dat ik het aan Kilian ga geven.
Yeah?
Is dat oké voor jou?
That's fine. As a bartender, it's always good to taste your drinks before you serve them, just to check that they're good, in case you haven't missed anything. And it's fine. I think Seedlip has a really unique flavour, so I can leave that one there. It doesn't look very nice garnished. There you go. But it's a really nice, refreshing, long drink. It's like if you like gin tonics, you can just put gin in it with lemon juice, sugar, some soda water. It's like a homemade lemonade with gin, and it's really refreshing, really nice. And I was going to say something else. It's, yeah, just really easy to do. You can also swap lime juice in if you prefer lime juice. That's a nice sour style drink.
Ik heb een klein stukje gemist, maar...
Yeah, that's fine. So that's the first drink. Sure, I was going to say something else, then it will come back to me.
Kilian, je moet straks maar laten weten of dat een beetje lekker is, hè?
Yeah. hopefully it is.
En ondertussen, ik vind het eigenlijk echt raar dat er nog niemand, Mathias, iets heeft willen extra aanleren in het West-Vlaams. Nee, Robin, heb je suggesties? Stoere ding dat je dagelijks zegt, dat Mathias ook zou moeten kunnen zeggen.
Just to embarrass me.
Klets een haren op uw hat.
Wat was het?
Ik klets een haren op uw hat.
Ik klets een haren op uw... Up.
Hat.
Gat.
Weet je wat je net zei?
Nee.
That you like to spank her.
Oh, really? Great. That's the...
Dat is
Yeah.
niet typisch dat van jou komt, hè?
Yeah, that's for your girlfriend.
Kylie, je moet niet luisteren hoor, naar Robin en ook niet naar Mathias. Oké. Moet er iets afgewassen worden of is dat?
No, that's fine for now. That's okay.
Ik ben curieus. Wat zijn je nog van plan?
So again, another in the sour family. So like I said, this cocktail book categorizes cocktails. A sour cocktail is effectively a spirit, or like a base spirit, or in that case, non-alcoholic spirit. It can be rum, it can be whiskey, it can be anything you want. It just has to be a spirit. A sour element, so lemon or lime juice or an equivalent, and a sweetener. So your sweetener can be sugar syrup, or it can be a juice, or it can be a strawberry syrup. It just has to be 3 components, strong, and then sweet, sour and sweet. 3 drinks. So the next drink we're going to make is called a daiquiri, a daiquiri. We love them in the bar. I think rum is getting really popular at the moment again as well. They're some of our go-to drinks. With daiquiris, it's like if you're a chef, you're asked to make an omelette. Because it's very simple, but you need to do small things to make it really nice.
Yeah.
So with a daiquiri, it's the same. It's almost like the test of a bartender. See how good they make a daiquiri. Maybe I'm about to fail. I don't think so. I think I like my daiquiris. Hopefully people in the bar have as well. I've learnt from good daiquiri makers.
Subiet wel zien, hè.
Ja.
Wees dat jij dingen aan het pakken zit, waar hier een paar commentjes binnen. Jorn die zegt klootzakken. Ik vraag me af of dat iets is dat Mathias moet leren, of dat dat naar Robin en mezelf verricht is. Dat zou ik niet zo lief vinden, eerlijk gezegd. En dan Dieter die zegt... het was echt moeilijk voor te lezen. Ja, geen geheugen hier, maar je muggengeheugen.
Bloody hell. Say it again, one time.
Ja, geen geheugen hier, maar je muggengeheugen.
Yeah. No, I don't even know where to start.
Works
Let me read it. Okay. Je hiehen geheugen hi, je hiehen geheugen hi, je meheugen. I have no idea what that means. I think he's told me it before, but there's no way I'm going to remember that.
Ik vind het wel echt heel schoon. It's like the word muggengeheugen.
Yeah.
It has a lot of G's. And because like they always laugh with the people from West Flanders that they can't pronounce the G.
Okay,
like
fine,
we say a H, so it's just a lot of.
His like brugge.
Yeah, like brugge, but then they say muggengeheugen. That's like the brain of a mosquito, but it's a really difficult word for West Flemish.
Muggengeheugen.
Yeah, but you say like muggengeheugen, but we say muggengeheugen.
Muggengeheugen.
So, and Jorn says, Mathias has to learn the word "you are great." Dank u wel. Dus jij moet leren klootzakken zeggen.
Ah, oké. I know that word. Klootzakken.
Ja, dat kent hij al. Oké, fantastisch. Sorry, klein intermezzo.
No, that's cool. So the second drink is another sour drink. Again, can vary massively depending on what type of rum you use. You can use nice white rum, which is really clean and fresh, and you'll taste a lot of the lime coming through, the citrus of the lime. You can use aged rums, which you're going to have a bit more depth in there, maybe a bit of wood. You can use rum agricoles, which are made from sugarcane juice instead of molasses. That adds a completely different flavour as well, more vegetal. You can use Jamaican rum, which is what I've got here, which is a lot more, the word people use is funky. You're getting a lot more tropical fruits coming through there.
Okay.
So that's what I had at home. That's what I'm going to use today. Smith & Cross. It's also slightly stronger, it's 57%. It's overproof, but it's very tasty, very powerful.
Heel sterk.
So it's really nice. So with a daiquiri, obviously with daiquiris, you can have frozen daiquiris. You have lots of different kinds of daiquiris. Each are good for their own scenario. If you're sitting on, we like to drink them up and neat without ice. Very clean, but if you're on a beach somewhere and you want to have like a really refreshing long drink on crushed ice and you want a mango daiquiri, then every drink is nice. Drink what you like, basically. Mm-hmm. Which took me a while to learn. I think just as long as you drink, if you like a drink, ask for it, and I think don't just whatever you like. It's like wine. If you like a certain wine, it doesn't need to be the best wine there is, or just drink what you like. We'll try and do our best to guide you in that and to try and help you. If there's something which we think you might like better, we'll try and do that.
Ja, doe je dat? Like, als ik bijvoorbeeld binnenkom bij jou en ik zeg, ik hou van aardbeidjes, ik zeg maar iets, zuur en tegelijkertijd pikant of zo.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more difficult than others, but yeah, we try and generally the menu we have at Groot Vlaanderen it's quite a big menu. There's generally something on there for everyone. If you want something a little bit different, or even with the same drink, you can ask for a daiquiri, but you can say, but I want it really sour, or I want it really sweet, and we try and make something that you will like for yourself as well. So it's always good to ask if you want advice on something, or if you want something particular, then we do try our best to to accommodate you and do what we can. If it's really busy, sometimes it's more difficult, but generally we like to take the time to make what you like to drink.
Oké, dat is mooi.
So we serve them up in a glass. You want to always, again, same as everything, you want to chill your glass. Normally we use crushed ice. I'm using cubes today. Maybe I'll just pop a little bit of soda water in there just to chill it, and I'll get rid of it in a sec.
Okay.
Stemmed glasses are good. Hold them by the stem. Keeps the drink colder as well. If you hold it by the glass, it's going to warm your drink up.
Ja.
That's why with old fashions and drinks which are down on rocks glasses, as they warm up, you kind of want them to warm up, because then the flavors develop as basically the warmer something is, the more sweetness you can taste. So if some drinks are made to be served in certain glasses, because as they warm up in your hand, they develop, they dilute more flavors open up. Mm-hmm. With these kinds of drinks, you want them shaken to dilution, so you don't want them to dilute anymore. You want to keep them cold. Yeah. They're best drunk quick. There was a very famous quote, I think Harry Craddock writes it in, there's a very famous book called The Savoy Cocktail Book, and he said, someone asked him, what's the best way to drink a cocktail? And he said, drink it whilst it's laughing at you. So basically, drink it quick. It's expensive, but that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
So you've got a chilled glass there. We're going to shake. So you're going to take your small tin. Again, we're going to start with the cheapest ingredients. Again, you can change this depending on how you like it. If you like it sweeter, add more sweet. If you like it sour, add more sour. We're using sugar syrup. I'm going to put in 20 mils of sugar syrup. That's your sweet element. Then I'm going to add, that's not lime juice, this is lime juice. I'm going to label your things as well.
Ja, ik was net aan het denken, hoe zie je dat zelfs?
I know that I've got, you can tell by the colour a bit. I know that jar is definitely not lime juice. That's something else which we'll come to. How long have we been on, by the way?
Een uurtje.
Okay, fine.
Dat is supergoed. Want het is mega interessant. Waar ik aan moest denken trouwens, bij je zo dingen aan het maken bent. Ik heb een filmpje gezien.
Yeah.
Where they asked bartenders to make a drink, but they was with a microphone next to them. And they couldn't make noise. Like if they had a decibel meter next to them. And if they made more than, but they was super quiet. When they made noise, they had to throw everything away and shout something. It was super frustrating.
I can imagine. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able. Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to you. It was funny.
I'm going to put just so
What's up, Mathias?
it's a nice balance. I'm going to put also 20 mils of lime juice in. Then you've got a nice balance of sweet and sour. In some bars you taste your lime, some limes are more sour than others. You taste your juice. If it's particularly sharp, add more sugar.
Yeah.
Generally there's a borderline. And then I'm going to use rum. So this is Smith & Cross, it's Jamaican rum. Like I said, it's overproof, very funky, even if you can smell it. I'm going to add a double shot of this in, 50, maybe a fat 50, which means slightly over, just to give a real nice kick. Drop that in.
Dat ziet eruit alsof dat super straf gaat zijn.
You can smell the bottle. Try and stay distant. It's really, yeah, but it's good. And then another trick that we do, which you can do at home, is any drinks with citrus or fruit, you can add a couple of drops of saline solution, which is just salt and water. So it's about a 1 to 3, 1 salt, 3 water. Add a couple of drops in, and that brings out a lot of the other flavours. So it's just like when you season your salt with food, it brings out flavours. Just add a couple of drops in. It's not going to taste salty. You're not going to notice it, but all the other flavours in it will be a little bit brighter. So, 3 ingredients, rum, lime, sugar. Then we're gonna shake it. Same with your glass. You want lots of ice. You're gonna fill the small tin to the top with ice. There's lots of discussion about how to shake, what shaking style is best. Generally, you want to just shake it hard for at least 10 seconds. You'll get a good amount of dilution. Depending on the ice you use, you shake it differently. Depending on how much dilution you want, you shake it differently. For a daiquiri, you're going to want it, a good hard shake for 10 seconds. Shake harder than you think. shake harder than you think you need to. You want a nice foam on top. Hopefully I'm going to get that. When you've got your shaker, you want to seal it so there's a flat line down the side, like so.
Ja. Ben je nooit bang dat het open gaat springen?
So, when there's ice inside, I'll explain this after, I'm going to shake
Yeah.
it first. So you want to hit it down. When there's ice inside, well, I'll shake it first. So you want to give it a nice hard shake.
Ziet er altijd super intens uit.
Yeah, you get used to it in the bath. Then to separate it, you're going to hit it on the side of it. So you'll find the flat side, a quarter of the way around, hit it. You're going to empty your glass.
Hoe dan?
There was something there, by the way, on the floor.
Is hier gewoon de studio aan het kapot maken,
Yeah.
ja?
You want to put your Hawthorne strainer on top. Take your fine strainer and strain it out. And if you've shaken it well and hard enough, fortunately, there are bubbles on top. So I've shaken it at least a little bit hard enough.
Moet ik het meepakken?
Sorry.
Moet ik het spoelen?
Yeah, please, actually. So, I don't know if you can see it in the picture. There are nice bubbles on top. You've aerated it. When you double strain, with the fine strainer, you take out a lot of the small ice particles, which will lie on top of your drink. And that dilutes the drink further. Some people like it. Again, drink it how you like to drink it. We double strain it. We take all the ice particles out. Stays as it is. You can garnish it with a lime wedge or something on top. I don't have any at the moment. But that's a really easy drink to do. Again, I don't know. Normally we would all just try it, but we can't at the moment.
Nee.
I'm going to take a little sip of it.
Doe je dat? Wat ik ging zeggen...
And that's super fresh. And you can taste the rum in it.
Ik ruik het
It's
tot
bloody
hier.
good.
Het is echt hek.
I'm going to pour it out the other side into...
Johan vraagt... If you were a cocktail, what would you be?
If I were a cocktail, what would I be? Porn star martini?
En wat
No, it's the easy answer. That's the easy answer.
Joshua zegt... he'd definitely be a pornstar martini at the start of the shift, zombie at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
And
probably.
then Kaylee said, I can vouch for this.
Yeah, what would I be if I were a cocktail?
Ik weet het niet.
I don't know. It's a really difficult question to answer. I just want to answer the drinks that I like. I'd say a martini, you know, super clean, super sophisticated, super refined, all of those things. Everything that a martini represents, that's me, basically.
Maar je mama zegt, too much info for this mother's delicate ears, lol.
So I poured this into another glass from the other side. If you want to try it, it's thank
I
you so
think
much.
I want to try it, but I'm
Cheers.
not going to drink too much of it because I'm going to be drunk.
Just have one sip, and let me know what you
Okay.
think. It's not super strong.
Nee, maar
'Cause
ik
yeah.
ben een lichtgewicht.
Okay.
Dat is echt
That'll be
waar.
just a tinty little sip.
Het ruikt echt straf wel.
But because you obviously the rum is strong, but then you have your sugar and you have your lime and you have your dilution from the water. So the total ABV of that drink, one sip of it might be around, I don't know, 20% more so.
Dat is super lekker.
Is it nice?
Dat is super lekker.
Okay, cool. So that's a really simple one. You can experiment with your rums, try different
van
rums.
mij, nu.
It's a really good way of trying rums as well. If you want to try different rums, they always come through in a daiquiri because you've only got 2 other ingredients in there. It's a really nice way to try different rums.
Okay.
You can also start to add in different liqueurs and stuff in there. There's a famous story about a Hemingway daiquiri, which is named after the writer Ernest Hemingway. He was an alcoholic, used to drink a lot, and he basically said he was diabetic. So instead of the sugar syrup, he wanted some cherry liqueur maraschino in there and some grapefruit as well. So everyone thinks, well, he claimed he was diabetic, but a lot of people think he just wanted more booze in his drink.
Ja.
So it's a variation on the daiquiri, but yeah, with grapefruit juice and maraschino liqueur, and it's also very nice. But that's the thing, when you learn one drink, you learn your daiquiri, for example, then you have a whole family of cocktails, and that's how it's easy to remember them as well.
Yeah.
So from this drink, you have a Hemingway daiquiri, You have a Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. You have so many different drinks which are related to this one. You just swap out one ingredient or add a different ingredient in. Go on.
Johan is weer grappig aan het zijn. Hè?
Yeah.
Hij zegt, try and everyone pretends to like you but doesn't really. Dan Dieter, LOL, en dan Dieter, I think Johan should do the next cocktail masterclass in be player and flames and uncomfortable cocktail truths.
Yeah. Fair enough. That was good though, to be fair. Yeah.
Ja. Dat is van je broer dat ik moet hebben, nee?
Ja, dat is waar.
Is dat?
Go
Voordat we aan de of wil je daar nog iets over zeggen?
No, go for
Nee,
it. Yeah, we're gonna drink.
Wat ik me dus ook afvroeg nu, als je in de bar aan het werken bent,
Ja.
is het moeilijk. Like, nu kan je al supergoed Nederlands, maar ik denk in het
Ja.
begin was het misschien wat moeilijker.
Ja.
Was dat dan betant tijdens je werk of niet?
Nee, het was niet... Dus ik kon al een beetje Nederlands door mijn familie. Dan studeerde ik een beetje Nederlands ook. Maar het was nog niet zo goed. Toen ik hier in België kwam wonen, is het heel veel verbeterd. En eigenlijk in de Lidl sprak ik veel met mensen, met klanten, in de bar ook. Het is soms moeilijk, want als mensen weten dat je Engels bent, praten ze graag Engels tegen je.
Dat is wel waar.
Dus ik heb veel Nederlands in de bar gesproken. Ook af en toe heb ik in de zaal gewerkt. En dan heb ik ook meer Nederlands gesproken. En het is echt een mengeling. Achter de bar praten wij Engels met elkaar. Omdat het gewoon, Deze spreekt heel goed Engels.
Ja.
Misschien beter dan ik.
Nee.
Ja, echt waar. Hij heeft een paar woorden gebruikt die ik nooit gehoord heb.
Ja.
En ik heb dat opgezocht en dan was dat, ja, dat is wel een woord. Dus, en hij schrijft ook, dus voor ons is dat gewoon een beetje makkelijker in Engels te praten, gewoon voor efficiënt.
Duidelijke communicatie.
Ja, precies. Maar af en toe, en ook als het heel druk is, dan is het moeilijk voor mij te concentreren aan de taal en ook aan mijn
Aan
dranken.
doen, ja.
Dus het is makkelijker voor mij Engels te praten. Maar als ik tijd genoeg heb, dan probeer ik Nederlands te praten met mensen. Sommige mensen vinden dat leuker. Misschien, ik wil niet generalize. Ik weet niet.
Alles over dezelfde kam scheren. Robin.
Algemeniseren.
Ja, voilà, dank u.
Ik wil niet algemeniseren, maar misschien oudere mensen willen meer Nederlands praten. Maar het was niet ambetant. Ik wilde in het buitenland wonen eigenlijk om mijn talen te gebruiken. En ik zou meer Nederlands praten. Dus bijvoorbeeld vanavond heb ik de hele tijd in Engels praten. Ik zou niet alles in Nederlands kunnen uitleggen, maar ik kon meer uitleggen dan ik gedaan heb.
Ja.
Kan ik dat zeggen?
Nee, je hebt het super
Dus
goed gedaan.
ik kan ook over cocktails in het Engels praten, maar het is gewoon makkelijker. Ik moet gewoon een beetje meer de moeite doen om Nederlands te praten.
Ja, maar het is eigenlijk echt super goed. Like, als je praat, het is mega vlot
Ja?
dat het eruit komt.
Oké.
Ja.
Maar het is altijd, ik zeg het is altijd hetzelfde zinnen. Dus als het iets complexer is, dan vind ik dat wel moeilijk.
Kom maar goed.
Ja.
Gewoon,
Eigenlijk vind ik het jammer dat iedereen moet Engels praten. Ik ben de één Engelsman in de bar. En normaal gezien, vorig jaar zijn we naar Gent geweest en veel mensen praten Engels. En ik vind dat jammer, want mensen moeten een andere taal spreken, alleen maar voor mij, want er zijn 5 Belgische mensen. Ik zou de moeite doen eigenlijk Nederlands te praten, maar ja, het is...
ik denk dat
het
dat
is
is
moeilijk.
omdat mensen wel like, helpen of zo.
Ja,
Snap je? Zo aan het gemakkelijk maken voor jou, dus dan veranderen ze naar Engels. Like, ik ben er nu op aan het letten dat ik Nederlands praat tegen jou. Normaal gezien, als ik jou zie, is het ook in het Engels, denk ik. Hè? Of misschien met stukjes ertussen.
Ik versta het beter dan ik het praat. Dus bijvoorbeeld met je zus Lisa, zij praat Nederlands en ik praat Engels.
Ja.
En ik versta haar en zij verstaat mij.
Super.
Ja. Maar ik moet meer Nederlands praten. Dat is mijn
dat is een mooie conclusie.
Ja,
Dan gaan we
ja.
daarop letten. Johan zegt, challenge accepted.
Challenge.
Ja, dan ga ik je moeten langskomen, nee?
Ja.
Nee, wat gaan we nog doen?
Oké, and the final drink we can make.
Nog een stepje pijn.
Ja, dus de laatste drankje dat we gaan maken vanavond is een whisky sour. Het is ook een coole cocktail, want je kan gewoon de whisky wisselen voor iets anders. Gin, dan heb je gin sour. Het is ook een het is ook een sour, maar met normaal gezien eiwit erbij. Of niet altijd, sommige mensen drinken graag whisky sour zonder eiwit. Vroeger was dat normaal. Dan, ik weet niet wanneer, maar dan heeft iemand een eiwit toegevoegd. En dan normaal whisky sour nu is normaal gezien met eiwit. Dus we gaan de whisky sour maken. We gaan dat ook opmaken in een koep zonder ijs. Ik ga een beetje meer ijs toevoegen.
Dat is gewoon voor je glas koud te maken.
Wat blieft?
Dat is
Dat is
om
gewoon voor je
glas.
ijs koud te maken. Dan blijft het kouder.
Ja.
Als het warm is, dan verwarmt het drank een beetje sneller.
Ja.
So, we're gonna do this. Chill your glass. Shouldn't be sparkling water. I'm just trying to chill it more quickly. And we are going to take your small tin. Again, we're going to always build it in the small tin. Unless you're making 2 drinks, build it in the big tin. Then some drinks have a lot of liquid. If it's in here, it's not going to splash out when you add ice in.
Yeah.
We're going to make 1 drink, so we're going to put it in here. The tops you want to make cocktails at any time in 1 tin. If they're quite small cocktails, 3. Ideally, no more than 2.
Ja.
Otherwise, it's gonna explode.
Explode.
Well, not explode. No, not explode, but it can overflow and it can leak,
Okay.
and it won't get the dilution. It won't get the movement. It'll be
Yeah.
too much in there in order to get the right.
Oké, dat je niet kan
texture.
schudden ermee dan.
Yeah.
Oké.
But then what I was going to say earlier, when you shake, I learned that it does 4 things. When you shake, it dilutes it. It adds water. I'm speaking English again.
Dat is niet erg.
It adds water. It chills the drink. It adds texture to the drink. So when you still it gets those air bubbles in. And with now, in a second, you'll see when the egg white goes in, it foams up. So it chills. It adds water. It adds texture. And the last one is, again, slipped my mind, probably because I'm doing this on here.
Dat is niet erg.
Um,
Misschien dat je er straks nog gaat opkomen.
yeah.
Doe nog
Chills,
iets.
waters. And it binds, so it binds flavors together. With
Okay.
citrus, most citrus drinks are shaken because when you add citrus to a drink, you need to shake it and it binds all the flavors together as well. So you're mixing it and binding the flavors as well as so. Cool. So we're going to start cheapest ingredient once more. Last drink. Back to lemon juice again. Again, you can make this as sweet as sour as you want. 20 mils. We're going to do equal parts. So equal parts lemon, equal parts sugar. Then we're going to add Angostura bitters.
De wat er?
Angostura bitters.
Wat is dat?
There's bitters, this like seasoning for drinks. It's like salt and pepper. So it brings out flavors. It bridges gaps between flavors. It's like seasoning for drinks.
Ja.
Angostura bitters is a very famous one. You can find it in most supermarkets as well. It's very like cinnamony, clovey, spicy. But you just add a couple of drops in, and it adds a little bit more depth to the drink.
Ja.
So we're gonna add just a couple of dashes in there.
Maar als je er te veel in smijt, is het waarschijnlijk ook niet goed.
It's very bitter.
Ja.
If you give me your hand.
Oh, maar ik hou niet van... Ja. Moet ik mijn vinger geven?
And then try that.
Ik denk dat niet wel. Oh, het
Not
valt
too-
mee.
not too
Het is
bad,
niet
but It is
slecht.
very bitter. There are some drinks. There's a Trinidad sour. This is from Trinidad. Trinidad sour, and it adds a lot of this in. It's a really nice drink actually, but it's like 4 centiliters or so with Angostura in. It's another sour cocktail. Another one of the sour family, the Trinidad sour, which uses a lot of that. It's got quite a unique taste. So you've got your bitters, you've got your lemon, you've got your sugar. We're using bourbon. I'm using 4 Roses bourbon. And again, this is a small batch one. I bought it today because I haven't any excuse to buy a bottle. I haven't. I take the excuse.
Ik ken iemand die daar wel fan
So,
van is.
Yeah, I know you had a good night on this last week,
Sa-
didn't you? And we're going to add, so with whiskey, again, you can try different whiskies out. They each have different flavor profiles. This is American, it's a bourbon, which means it's at least 51% corn. Scotch whiskey is barley, tends to be made with barley, well, is made with barley. This is made with corn. It's got also rye in it, so rogge,
Ja.
Rogge. It's got rye in it. This has got quite a high rye content, so 20%-ish, I think. But rye, so corn is quite smooth, quite mellow. Rye is a little bit more peppery, a little bit more spicy. So this is mostly corn. It's nice and mellow and smooth, but then the rye adds a little bit of like kick to it, a bit of spiciness. We're going to use a double shot 50 mils of this. That's going to go in.
Je legt het wel super goed uit, like, hoe dat smaken in elkaar zitten.
Echt? Ik vind dat moeilijk eigenlijk om smaken uit te leggen.
Ja,
bij proevings
maar,
bijvoorbeeld, als ik iets drink, dan vind ik dat wel moeilijk om uit te leggen hoe dat smaakt. Maar de meer dat je drinkt, de meer smaken dat je herkennen kan.
Ja.
Dus om eigenlijk, je kunt veel over whisky, over alles lezen, maar eigenlijk moet je gewoon alles proeven. Notities maken.
Ja.
En de meer dat je drinkt, de meer dat je smaakt. Ik ken redelijk veel over whisky, meer dan andere spirits. Ook een beetje gin, ook. Mezcal en tequila niet zoveel, maar ik heb een boek gelezen vorige maand, dus het is altijd leren. So, you have everything in there. Sometimes you can shake it like this. That's fine as well. It's a whiskey sour. You've got your 3 elements. Normally you can add egg white, which everyone is a bit scared of sometimes. It doesn't taste egg white. It doesn't add any flavour to the drink so much. It doesn't taste of eggs. It adds nice texture. It's a nice creamy texture. When you see sours with that white foam on top, that's generally because there's egg white in it. But it softens a lot of the flavours. So if you want to get into whiskey, a whiskey sour with egg white is a nice way because it softens a lot of those strong whiskey flavours.
Ja. Dat wist ik niet. Ik dacht dat gewoon voor de luchtballetjes was.
Ja, dat is ook
Dus like foam.
Ja, maar de smaak ook, dat verandert ook een beetje. Ja, dus een beetje zachter. Dus ook hetzelfde met die cocktail. Je kunt gewoon in plaats van whisky gebruiken, amaretto gebruiken, rum, gin. You can swap things out. We call it or it is called, I don't call it, but it's called the Mr. Potato Head technique, where you just take one thing out, put another in, see how it tastes.
Okay.
Like from Toy Story, right?
Ja,
Yeah, okay.
I think so. Like with his little hat.
Ja,
maar zo'n klein hoedje, kijk, ik doe het ook, hè.
Ja, precies. Dus, maar in de plaats van eiwit, mijn vriendin is vegan, dus ik mag geen eiwit gebruiken met haar. Normaal gezien in de bar gebruiken wij eiwit. Ik vind eiwit een beetje beter. Dat heeft een klein geur die ik niet zo leuk vind. Dat komt niet zo door. Dus in de plaats van eiwit is aquafaba. Dat is
kikkererwten.
Kikkererwtenwater. Sap. Dat is gewoon van de tin.
Als je het blik open doet,
De blik
en
open doet,
de
kan dat gewoon uit. You can strain it out. It has a smell to it. It doesn't smell very nice, but you don't taste it in the drink.
Ja.
But it gives it that same texture. So I'm going to use that today.
Ik vind het wel tof dat je, omdat je vriendin zegt van, ik wil dat een keer zo drinken,
Ja.
dat je dat nu meepakt met dat. Ik vind dat wel tof. Voor te tonen dat het anders kan ook.
Dat kan anders ook. Ja, veganisme is nu een grote antwoord, denk ik. Dus het is ook cool gewoon om te weten dat je dat kan ook veganistisch maken.
Ja.
Dus anders eiwit, niet de hele, not the yellow bit of the egg. There are cocktails that you put the whole egg in. That's called a flip, but that's a different family altogether.
Ja.
We're going to use just aquafaba, and we're going to put that in. So 25 mils, a shot of that. Now, the difference with this is, in order to get that foam, what you want to do is you want to give it a dry shake. And a dry shake means without ice. You can do this before or afterwards. I'm going to do it before. So you have everything in there.
Dus eigenlijk alles behalve het ijs zit er nu in.
Yeah, alles behalve, so you don't have ice. Now you have to be careful because there's no ice in it. It doesn't...
Wacht. Dieter zegt, be sure to film Mathias in close-up when he dry shakes.
Yeah. Oh, so basically there's a saying, I pull funny faces when I shake. There's a saying... Yeah. There's a saying that the face you pull when you shake is the same face you pull when you're having sex.
Oh.
So I'm going to smile for this. But yeah, we all have different shaking faces. That's not necessarily true, but it's fun. So I'm going to stand up for it. with this, so it's got nothing but ice in it. Because there's no ice in it, when there's ice in it, it creates a vacuum and it contracts, and so you have to hit it to open it. With this, there's no vacuum in it, so it's easier for it to come out. So you want to give it a really hard shake, as hard as possible. You want to give it a shake for as hard as, like, for a good 10 seconds without ice.
Kaylee zegt bij ons, I was just saying how funny his shaking face is.
You want to give it a good hard shake, just backwards and forwards, moving the liquid around. And you can see my hair, which is why I need a haircut.
Het is een beetje lang, hè?
Yeah. So that opens without me touching it. As you can see already, there's foam in there from the emulsification. It's all foamy. That's from the chickpea water. Now you want to add your ice in. This is called a wet shake. So now hit it tight, and then you're going to shake for another 8-10 seconds. And then hit it to open it. Okay, tin.
Je familie is uit erg.
Should never have invited them to this.
Tom zegt, I'm sorry Kaylee. En dan Kaylee, I can't debunk that theory.
Bloody hell.
Maar ik vind het wel gezellig. Maar
Ja?
er allemaal bij.
Yeah. So now you have this. You're going to double strain it. Always double strain your egg white drinks.
Maar double strain bedoel je ook met je zeefje er nog een keer bij?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this single strain would be just straining out of here.
Yeah.
You do that for some cocktails, it's fine. Generally, what we do is anything without ice in the glass, we double strain it.
Okay.
If there's ice in the glass, don't necessarily have to double strain it. Again, it's preference on how you like it, but as a rule, we always double strain anything without ice. Okay. Sometimes you just, with our zombies at the bar, we just do an open pour. So we don't even strain it, we just pour it straight from there. And there, you have a whiskey sour. You can garnish it with a dash of Angostura bitters on top. This isn't going to be very elegant. You do it like that. And then
dat viel best mee trouwens. Ik dacht
Yeah?
dat het echt super bitter ging smaken, maar het viel
It's nice, and you have all sorts of different ones. So this is Angostura, it's a
Mm-hmm.
famous brand. You have Peychaud bitters, which are from New Orleans, another famous brand, but they're more anisey. These are like cinnamon, clovey, spicy. Peychaud bitters are more anisey. And then you can have grapefruit bitters, orange bitters, celery bitters, all sorts of different bitters.
Soorten ervan.
Yeah.
Tof.
Again, that's something that's grown a lot, and you can just draw something in it. You just use a toothpick, make it look a little bit nicer. But if you see in the camera there, it has a foam on top. It's a bit difficult to see.
Boven is de laagje.
You can see it. Cool. So that's a whiskey sour. Again, in the sour family, but a different version within the sour family. Again, you can do that with amaretto. If you do it with amaretto, always see with your base spirit. Whiskey amaretto is a lot sweeter than your whiskey.
Yeah.
So you want to reduce the sugar and keep the citrus the same. Otherwise, it's going to be super.
Balans is.
Precies, yeah. You want to find the balance between your ingredients. So if something's really sweet, drop the citrus. A good template is to go like 50 milliliters of your spirit, 20 milliliters of your citrus sour. But you can always vary it depending on what you're putting it in.
Ja.
Yeah.
Super interessant.
You want to try it?
Ik denk dat ik dat Robin ga geven.
Yeah?
Ja. Robin
There
had
you
test.
go.
Ik heb het gezien als een hoofd.
Yeah?
Er wel zelf achter komen. He always make like old man's noises when he gets up.
So yeah, there's so many different cocktails you can make. Have fun with it at home. Just try different things. Try to stay within ratios. That always helps. Just sweet against sour. Bitter is another different flavour you can add in there.
Zo maar mee.
There's a lot. Oh, thank you. In England we have barbacks, and they do all the rubbish shit. So there you go. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Iedereen is al content mee.
It's very full.
Waar is de camera?
Je ziet al aan het morsen.
Cheers.
Maar moet wel, hè?
Dus ja, ik wilde meer zeggen, maar I can't remember what I was going to say now. I
Tends
had
to
lots
happen
to
when
say
he's around.
about different. No, but just in general, I had lots to say about different things. But have a play, buy different bottles, try new stuff out. I remember I was going to say one time when I was younger on the boat on the way back from Belgium to England.
Ja,
They have the duty-free shop
ja.
on the boat, and I bought a bottle of Campari, which is a Italian Amaro, very bitter, very herbal. I bought it, didn't have a clue what it tasted like. I took it back to university and opened it, and I was like, what is this? And we were drinking that. On the back of the bottle it says to drink it with orange juice, so we were drinking it with orange juice. I now know that's a cocktail in itself, a Garibaldi cocktail, but at the time really didn't enjoy it. But the more you drink stuff like that, the more you drink bitter stuff, you kind of get used to it. So
You start to like it. En je
Yeah.
begint het leuk te vinden.
ja, precies. Ja, dus ja, probeer dingen uit en ja, vragen aan bartenders as well. Ask what we're there to give you what you want. So
Ja,
yeah.
dat is super mooi. Trouwens, Dieter zegt great job, Matt. En Jordan zegt was really fun.
Pardon, my what?
Is that Dieter zegt great job, Mathias. En Jordan zegt was really fun.
Okay, cool.
Is
I'm
it
glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully I
Met hoe gedaan.
talked some sense.
Ja, we gaan beginnen afronden, want we zijn al even bezig.
Ja.
Maar ik wil misschien nog één keer iets onder de aandacht brengen. Iedereen zit in hetzelfde coronaschuitje. Het is niet makkelijk voor ons ook niet. We doen ook ons best. Maar hoe zit dat voor de horeca? Groot-Vlaanderen, wat doen zij? En wat kunnen wij doen eigenlijk om zaken zoals hen te steunen?
Ja, ik denk gewoon takeaway is altijd goed. Dus natuurlijk kost het geld. Dus minder. Ik doe dat niet mezelf, dus ze doen dat in de zaak. Maar het is ja, cocktails kopen, naar de zaak gaan en takeaway cocktails kopen. En ook misschien je kunt ook waardebonnen kopen, misschien voor de toekomst. Dus nu is het geld belangrijk en dan in de toekomst als verjaardags present. Cadeautjes kan je misschien een waardebon kopen, maar het is gewoon I think Deze is probably shouting at me saying say this. I think the main thing is just stay engaged. I know it's expensive to take away cocktails, but just maybe on a Friday night a nice cocktail to take away. It's a nice treat. And I think it's really appreciated.
And support the locals as well, eh?
Support the locals as well. If you're gonna, if you're trying to think of an example, to support the locals, keep doing takeaway, and sharing it as well. If you really like a drink, post it, share it, let other people know. Let other people know that's what you're doing. I think that's probably the biggest thing you can do. And then when everyone reopens, go. Have a good party, have a good celebration, and enjoy it, I think. We're all waiting to get back, so yeah.
We hebben heel veel mensen die zeggen dankjewel voor de stream en dat je het supergoed hebt gedaan.
Okay.
We gaan hiermee afronden. Is er nog iets dat je wil vertellen aan de mensen? Of?
Dat was alles, denk ik. Ik hoop dat het leuk was, ik hoop dat het een beetje interessant was. Als jullie vragen hebben, dan stuur mij een bericht op Facebook of op Instagram of zoiets.
Ik zal je Instagram eronder zetten.
Ja, cool. Ik praat graag over cocktails en alles. Dus. En als ik iets niet weet, dan kan ik iemand anders vragen. En ik heb ook veel boeken die ik aanraden kan over cocktails en alles. Dus ja, I'm here if you need anything else.
Dat is mooi.
I hope it was fun.
Oké, ik had super dankjewel dat je ook kwam vandaag. Je hebt dat, ik weet niet goed gedaan, in het Nederlands dan nog. Ik ga juist nog een keer reclame maken voor onze klankveld. Je kunt dat hier achter mij zien. Klankveld is een nieuw concept van Jeugdhuis, TV, van het Jeugdhuis. Heb je creatieve vrienden, heb je vrienden die muziek maken, die misschien poëzie voordragen, die een creatief talent hebben. Laat ze zich inschrijven daarvoor. Ze krijgen nog 15 minuten om elk hun ding te doen. Dat is elke maandagavond dat gaat gebeuren. Ik zou gewoon zeggen, stuur ons een berichtje als je iemand weet die zou kunnen meedoen. Dat is ik weet niet hoe het concept dat we het vuur en de poep ermee gaan steken. En hopelijk gaan we daar dan later ook in real life mee kunnen knallen. Mathias, echt keihard bedankt voor het komen vandaag.
A pleasure.
Oké, dat was Mathias. Ik ben Nina. Dit was Jeugdhuis, TV. Tot de volgende keer.